Hold on to your seats, folks. Canada's 2024 budget has been announced, and it's stirring up quite the conversation. The anticipation leading up to the unveiling of this fiscal plan was palpable. For weeks, economists, politicians, and everyday Canadians alike waited with bated breath. Everyone had their own predictions and hopes for what the budget might contain. The question on everyone's lips was, what will be the government's focus for the next fiscal year? As soon as the budget was announced, a frenzy of activity ensued. The media was abuzz with analysis, interpretation, and commentary. Reporters dissected every line, every allocation, every cut, and every tax hike. Social media was aflame with public opinion, some supportive, others critical, and many simply confused. The budget was, without a doubt, the talk of the town. In the political sphere, reactions were equally mixed. Some lauded the government's focus on certain sectors, while others criticized what they saw as oversights or missteps. The budget was dissected, discussed, and debated in the halls of power, with every political party offering its own take on the fiscal blueprint. The business community, too, was eager to understand the implications of the budget. What did it mean for their bottom lines, for their employees, for their industries? Economists, meanwhile, began the task of forecasting the potential impact of the budget on the country's economic landscape, a task that is as much an art as it is a science. And then, of course, there were the everyday Canadians, those who would be directly affected by the decisions outlined in the budget. From coast to coast, people tuned in to learn what the budget meant for them. Would they be paying more in taxes? Would their favorite programs see increased funding? The answers to these questions are what truly matter at the end of the day. So, what exactly does this budget entail? Let's dive into the specifics. At the helm of this budget is none other than Chrystia Freeland, the woman known for her strong economic insights. Freeland, Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, is no stranger to economic challenges. With a background in journalism and a keen understanding of global economics, she's the driving force behind the 2024 budget. Her career has been punctuated by her dedication to understanding and addressing the complexities of the global economy, making her uniquely qualified to guide Canada's financial future. Before entering politics, Freeland was a celebrated journalist, specializing in economics and international affairs. She worked for several high-profile outlets, including the Financial Times and Reuters, where she served as managing director. Her journalistic career saw her interviewing world leaders and reporting on economic crises, providing her with a comprehensive understanding of the global financial landscape. Freeland's transition into politics in 2013 was marked by her focus on economic issues. As Minister of International Trade, she was instrumental in negotiating significant trade agreements. Later, as Minister of Foreign Affairs, she handled complex international relations with a special focus on economic diplomacy. Now, as the architect of Canada's 2024 budget, Freeland is leveraging her wealth of experience. Her understanding of the nuances of global and domestic economics is evident in the bold decisions she's made in this budget. She's not afraid to raise taxes on those who, in her words, complain bitterly, displaying a determination to address income inequality and ensure a fairer distribution of wealth. Freeland's approach to this budget is a reflection of her belief in the power of economic policy as a tool for social justice. Her commitment to progressive economics is clear, and she's using her position to push for a more equitable Canada. With Freeland leading the charge, this budget is certainly not shy of bold moves. One of the most controversial aspects of this budget is the increase in taxes, particularly for those who, as Freeland puts it, complain bitterly. Now, let's delve into the topic of higher taxes. The 2024 budget proposes an increase in taxes, a move that has sparked a fair amount of controversy. But who will these higher taxes affect? Well, they're primarily targeted at the higher income brackets, those individuals and corporations that have the means to contribute more to the nation's coffers. Freeland's phrase "complain bitterly" refers to those who have voiced strong opposition to these tax hikes, often the ones with the most substantial financial resources. It's an interesting choice of words, wouldn't you say? It brings to mind the image of a privileged few grumbling about parting with a fraction of their wealth. But why the need for higher taxes? The rationale behind this decision is rooted in a desire for greater social equality and economic stability. The additional revenue generated from these tax increases is intended to fund public services and social programs, initiatives that aim to level the playing field and create opportunities for all Canadians. In a nutshell, the idea is to redistribute wealth in a way that benefits the greater good. By asking those with more to contribute more, the government hopes to alleviate the financial strain on lower-income households and inject much-needed funds into public services. But as with any significant change, there are critics. Some argue that these tax hikes could discourage investment and stifle economic growth. Others worry about the potential for tax evasion or capital flight. It's a complex issue, and different perspectives abound. And then there's the question of fairness. Is it fair to ask the wealthy to pay more? Or does this approach penalize success and deter ambition? These debates are at the heart of any discussion on progressive taxation, and they're certainly at the forefront in the wake of Canada's 2024 budget. It's clear that these higher taxes are at the heart of the budget, but what else is there to know? If you're sensing a bit of a New Democratic Party vibe from this budget, you're not alone. Indeed, the New Democratic Party, or NDP, has left a significant imprint on Canada's 2024 budget. It's as if the budget was dipped in NDP ink before being presented to the public. The NDP has long championed progressive taxation, arguing that those with broader shoulders should bear a heavier load. This principle is reflected clearly in the budget's call for higher taxes on the well-off, a move that aligns closely with NDP's ideals. Furthermore, the NDP's influence can be traced in the budget's emphasis on social infrastructure. The party has consistently advocated for greater investments in healthcare, education, and affordable housing. Lo and behold, these are key areas that the 2024 budget has chosen to prioritize. But the NDP's fingerprints aren't just on the budget's contents, they're also on its approach. The NDP is known for its commitment to dialogue and consultation, and this budget reflects a similar commitment. The extensive consultations that preceded the budget's release suggest an NDP-like approach to policymaking, where every voice is heard and every perspective is considered. The NDP's influence on the budget does not, however, mean that they have a monopoly on good ideas. The budget also incorporates ideas from other parties, reflecting the diversity of thought that characterizes Canadian politics. Yet the NDP's influence is undeniable. It's in the budget's focus on fairness, its emphasis on social infrastructure, and its commitment to dialogue. It's as if the NDP's principles were the compass that guided the budget's creation, directing it towards a more equitable and inclusive Canada. So, with the NDP's influence clear, how has the rest of the political field reacted? As with any budget, the political reactions have been loud, varied, and at times heated. The ripple effect of Canada's 2024 budget has been felt far and wide across the political spectrum. Let's delve into these reactions, shall we? Starting with the Conservative Party, the budget has been met with a less than enthusiastic response. The leader of the party has been quite vocal, calling the budget a tax grab, and arguing that the higher taxes will deter investors and stifle economic growth. He has also criticized Chrystia Freeland for what he calls channeling the NDP, stating that the government's role should be to create an environment for success, not to take a bigger slice of the pie. On the other hand, the NDP themselves have been caught in an interesting position. While they have long advocated for higher taxes on the wealthy, the fact that it's the Liberals who have implemented it has left them somewhat conflicted. The NDP leader has praised the move, but has also questioned why it took so long, suggesting that the Liberals are merely pandering to gain political favor. The Bloc Québécois, meanwhile, have focused their criticism on the lack of measures to support Quebec's specific needs. Their leader has criticized the budget for not addressing key issues such as health transfers and the fight against climate change. And then we have the Green Party, a key advocate for climate action. Their leader has voiced disappointment that the budget doesn't go far enough in addressing climate change. They believe that the higher taxes, while necessary, should be directed towards tackling the climate crisis and investing in green technology. The political landscape in Canada is, as always, a vibrant and diverse one. The reactions to the budget are a testament to this diversity, with each party bringing their own perspective and priorities to the table. What this means for the future of the budget and its implementation remains to be seen. It's clear that this budget has stirred up the political landscape. But what about the everyday Canadians? From the bustling cities to the quiet rural areas, Canadians have had a lot to say about this budget. The public response has been as diverse as the country itself, echoing the complexity and far-reaching implications of the 2024 budget. In the metropolitan areas, where the cost of living is high, many have voiced concerns. The increase in taxes has been met with apprehension, especially among those who are already feeling the pinch of city living. They worry about how this will impact their ability to save, invest, and plan for the future. On the flip side, there is also a sizable segment that has lauded the budget, seeing it as a progressive step towards economic equality. They argue that the higher taxes on the wealthy could help bridge the wealth gap and fund essential public services. This group tends to be more optimistic, focusing on the potential long-term benefits of such a policy. In the rural areas, the response has been mixed. Some believe that the higher taxes will have little impact on their lives, as they are not the ones who will be shouldering the brunt of the increase. However, others are concerned about potential indirect effects, such as a decrease in job opportunities or a slowdown in economic growth. Business owners, both big and small, have also chimed in. While larger corporations may have the means to absorb the tax hike, smaller businesses are expressing concerns about their survival in an already challenging economic landscape. Educators, healthcare workers, and other public sector employees have shown support for the budget, hopeful that the increased revenue will lead to better funding for their sectors. Nevertheless, they are also mindful that the promised improvements must materialize for the budget to be deemed a success. As we've seen, the 2024 budget has sparked a wide range of reactions. But what does this mean for Canada's future? With the dust from the initial announcement settling, it's time to look at what this budget means for the future of Canada. As we navigate the path forward, the 2024 budget paints a picture of a Canada that's willing to take bold steps for the sake of greater economic equality. This new fiscal landscape, which leans heavily on progressive taxation, is a clear departure from the past and a nod towards a future where the wealthy are asked to shoulder more of the burden. But with this shift comes challenges. Critics argue that the higher taxes on the wealthy may discourage investment, potentially slowing economic growth. There's a delicate balance to be struck. While the need for increased revenue to fund social programs is undeniable, the risk of hampering the very engine that drives our economy cannot be ignored. In response to these concerns, Freeland and her team are likely to point to the successful examples of other countries that have implemented similar measures. They'll argue that this is a tried and tested path, and that Canada, with its resilient economy, is well positioned to navigate any bumps in the road. Yet, it's not all about challenges. The 2024 budget also presents opportunities. The additional revenue from the higher taxes is set to be channeled into key areas such as healthcare, education, and climate change. These investments could pay off in the long run, leading to a healthier, more educated populace and a more sustainable economy. In particular, the focus on climate change is a clear indication of the government's commitment to securing a sustainable future. With the world grappling with the realities of climate change, Canada's decision to prioritize this issue in its budget could position it as a leader in the global fight against climate change. Furthermore, the budget may also serve to address income inequality, a persistent issue that has been exacerbated by the pandemic. By asking the wealthy to pay more, the government is taking a step towards a more equitable distribution of wealth. The road ahead is not without its hurdles. The 2024 budget is a bold move, and with it comes the inevitable pushback. But it also represents a vision for a different kind of future, one where economic growth and social welfare go hand in hand. Only time will tell what this budget will bring for Canada, but one thing is for sure, it's going to be an interesting journey. Until next time, thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.